Hello, you're welcome to about the last module. Wow, you've really come a long way, and I want to celebrate you for coming this far. In the last module, we talked about emotional intelligence and the components. We talked about using emotions to facilitate thoughts, and we said you react to emotions with the way you're feeling. That how you feel usually most times dictates how you react to situations and to people's emotions. And we also talked about how to use emotions, even when negative, to facilitate positive thoughts. So in this module, we'll be looking at social cues, how to recognize social cues. Okay, because we all are always passing out those cues regularly. So we want to see how to um, identify them or recognize them. They could be either verbal or non-verbal. Okay, they could be either positive or negative. They guide our conversation and every of other of our social interactions. There are things that comes to us regularly. It comes from us regularly, and it also comes to us regularly. So we only need a little tact to be able to recognize them when they come. It's not a matter of if they come, they do come regularly, and we do pass it out also. It's a matter of when it comes or when we give it out, so that we can recognize them and be able to identify them for what they are. They usually give us an inkling into how a person is feeling per time. They give us like it's a window of vision into how people are, what people are going through at the moment, how they are feeling at certain times, especially those times when those cues are coming forth. Okay, um, is an indication of feelings, and indication of preferences that people have, because it is usually displayed through those cues. Okay, so there can instances are where they are very very obvious, and there are instances where they are very subtle or subliminal, hardly seen, hardly noticed. But once you have an eye for recognizing social cues, it won't take you too much effort to be able to decipher such cues. So that's what the basis of this module is about, recognizing social cues. So we want to look at part of them, and maybe doing a number of gesticulations, a number of eye and body movements and all that. It is in a bid to strike home my points better for better understanding and clarity. Okay, so non-verbal cues could include folding of the arms. Is a cue. I'm not talking, but I've folded my arm. It passes an information across. When I'm fidgety, it's an information too. Okay, it's an information. It's either if I'm a superior and I'm asking you questions and you're fidgety, I may begin to feel that, let's assume I'm trying to investigate fraud. I may begin to feel that, could this person also be complicit? Is there something he or she knows that is not telling me? Is he aware of, is he even involved? Or is he even the person particularly involved? So it passes, I begin to get some messages from that fidgeting, which to ordinary eyes is fidgeting, it's just fidgeting. But for me, because I have a better understanding, I see it as something more than just fidgeting. It could be tapping of the feet, or tapping or clasping of the hands. All right. When someone is talking or is delivering an address or is saying something and his hands are clenched, it may be a sign of power. Okay, and it could be a sign of firmness. Okay, so we need to get to understand these cues as they come, so that we'll be able to add them to the verbal communication, which is mere how much did we call it the other time? 7:35, 50, 7:38, 55 rule. That 7 is just the word we speak, 35 is the volume, the pitch, the loudness, the timbre of the voice, while 55 is the body language. So it's the 55 that we are trying to look at now and have a mastery of, because they have the capacity of saying more than the word of the mouth is saying. Okay. What other cues? Moving close. There is what you call social space. There's a distance will come to me that I become uncomfortable. If there are two of you now watching or going through this course, you can just experiment it. If you're a friend, you are a casual friend, there's a distance will come that I become uncomfortable. There's a distance you encroach, there's an area around me that you encroach into and I feel threatened. That's what you call the social space. So if people are moving too close to your social space, it is a cue. All right? Someone you've not met before, or perhaps you feel lonely on the road and you see someone who appears friendly and you relaxed, and in the course of speaking is trying to go too close. It is a cue for danger. You begin to sense danger. You begin to sense inappropriateness. You begin to sense that something is not right or is about to go wrong. Okay? That's what I'm talking about. You are able to assess that cue of closeness, okay, to suggest that, hey, something is not right here. Or the opposite. When people are going further away, it's a cue. All right. The child who decides to go further away, before now he comes close to give a hug and say welcome, but now right from that distance where he's seated, he says he's welcome without coming closer. All right. So either way, they are all cues, they are all communication, they are all information being passed across. So in the case of the child, I begin to look at it. Okay, what was he doing when I came in? He was watching TV, or he was on the phone. So I begin to sense that this distance is being bred by that device. So maybe I want to do something about the device. Maybe I want to put out a correction or something, but I can't just leave it as if he has not communicated something to me. What he communicated verbally is a welcome daddy, welcome mommy, but the other thing that he did not say that he's saying is that I am now more preoccupied than before. I am now getting to have a better companion than what you are. Those are the information being conveyed that if we are not clever enough, we might not be picking. Okay? So when you are with someone and all he does is to look around frequently, too frequently. All right, maybe I'm speaking with you, I decide to look around, maybe just to be conscious of my environment, but I'm doing that constantly, frequently. It might mean that I'm running from something that I feel could catch up with me right there while speaking with you. It might be that I've done some ills that I believe could be haunting me. It might be that I'm not secured. I don't feel secured in the environment where we are having that discussion or where we are. It might be that I feel threatened by the neighborhood. It could also be, let's assume it's in the open, and that person kept looking around that way frequently. It might be that I'm distracted. I'm looking at so many beautiful buildings, I can't even concentrate on us. Okay, so we need to be able to identify these cues as they come in different sizes, in different shapes, at different times, on different occasions, so that we can get better at mastering social cues that people are passing out across to us. Of course, you need to be conscious of the voice tone or pitch. You need to be conscious of the tone of the voice, of the pitch of the voice. They are all cues passing a message across to us. I said I'm not angry. Okay? Okay, maybe that is even too direct, because the person is talking about anger. But he's saying, I said everything is okay. Then I compare it to saying, oh, everything is okay. They are the same things, but the tone of the voice, the pitch, sends a different message. It's sending a message on its own. Okay, so if you just want to ignore, you say, oh, he said it's okay. But you and I know that whoever talks with that kind of volume of voice, with that kind of pitch or tone, saying is okay is definitely not okay. Something beneath is not sitting well, is not sitting rightly. So you might want to question or prod further to know what that is. Okay, then part of cues are word emphasis. If people are emphasizing words, it might be an indication, it might be a social cue, it might be a cue in their communication. Okay, so he has mentioned that word as he was talking. In the next sentence, he tries to go there too and mention it. Even when you have started talking about something else, he still finds a way to ship it in. As you go on, you have gone further. Let's say you are halfway into the discussion. What he mentioned at the very beginning of the discussion, he still ships it in again. It looks like that's a cue. That's a cue. He's saying something that you might want to pay closer attention to, so that you are not missing out. The loudness, it's an information that is coming across that we need to be conscious of and not be blinded to, because they all come together to embody what you call communication. And if we don't have this sort of understanding, misunderstanding will be a given. It will always come around. When you perceive uncomfortable pauses, you remember at the point in time I talked about worded pauses. I talked about the use of pauses in communication, that pauses are a vital tool of communication. But now, and I remember saying then that I was not referring to grave silence. I'm not talking about a dead silence, just a pause, rightly timed and rightly used. It's communication. But here, when the pauses are getting uncomfortable, then it is an indication. So we are discussing, and I say, I've always wanted to tell you something. He sighs. I don't know how many cues you can pick from what I just did now. I sucked in my lips, I sighed, I paused uncomfortably. They are all indications of a message that is being passed across but not being said. So we need to be conscious of all this so that our communication can be effective. Yes. So what have we learned so far in this course? We have learned how to be better people, summarily. We have learned to be the kind of person we are looking for in other people. We have learned about the components of emotional intelligence. And we have learned that emotional intelligence is a composition of self-awareness, knowing who you are, knowing yourself. Have you discovered yourself? Do you know who you are? Do you know your fears? Do you know your temperament? Do you know what you are called out for and what you are not called out for? Do you know your character? Do you know your strengths? Do you know your weaknesses? This is self-assessment, knowing self. Okay, self-awareness. And we say you can be self-aware when you go through self-assessment. And we say self-assessment must be thorough, must be fair, and not biased. Okay. And we talked about self-management. Some call it self-regulation, ability to govern self, to have a self-governing rule in place, to have ethics that governs how you carry on, to have rules that govern how you behave, to be able to assert your position not being difficult, but being firm with what you believe in, what you stand for, okay, so that you don't fall for just anything. We talked about self-awareness, we talked about self-management or self-regulation, and we went ahead to talk about self-motivation. And we said self-motivation is you being able to drive yourself, okay, through the mechanism of what you have on the inside of you. And we said motivation can either be internal or external. When it is external, it means a drive, a support, a nudge, a push coming from outside on you to cause you to move. And internal motivation is that drive, that nudge, that push, that shove is coming from inside to push you, to energize you, to strengthen you, to encourage you to go ahead and do it and get the task done. Okay. We also talked about empathy, and we said empathy is more like emotional shoes. Empathy is your ability to put yourself in the shoes of others. And in my own definition, I considered empathy as sympathy in motion. Okay, I said it is sympathy with works, not just the words. So we talked about empathy, and we said when we are skilled in the art of empathy, we get to become better leaders. We get to become better team leaders. We get to become better husbands, better wives, better bosses, better employees, better business people, better customer relations officer, better bankers, better at whatever you're doing, because you are momentarily able to put yourself in the shoes of others and see how it feels. That way you're able to think the way the person would like to think. That way you're able to relate with people of diverse orientations, diverse origins, diverse biases, because you're able to put yourself in their shoes and see how it feels. And we used an example which I still remember very well of 9 and 6, that if you are standing across me and there's a letter written or a digit written 9, to me it is 9. To you who stands right across me, it is 6. But empathy says, for a moment, can we transpose? Can I come to where you are and you come to where I am? And I will see that your justification for saying 6 is very valid. And you should also be able to see that my justification for saying it is 9 is valid. That way we come to a middle point. And we said those who are strong in this light are also good at conflict resolution. When you have this skill, you're good at conflict resolution. And the last of the component was social skills. And under social skills, we talked about communication. And we said our communication needs to be very effective. And for communication to be effective, we talked about the 738-55 rule. And we said what we say, the communication will pass across, only 7% is the is the words we speak, while 38% is the tone of our voice, the quality of our voice, the volume of our voice, the pitch of our voice, while a massive 55% is our body language. So we went ahead to talk about body language, and we said it is a silent communication and consists of so many things. Our body language ranges from the way I roll my eyes, the way I nod my head, the way I move my hands, the folding of the arms, the clamping of the hands together, the tapping of the feet, and many other things. Okay, the furrow on the head, the movement of my eyebrows, and there are loads of other things. Okay, they embody our communication, and we said we need to pay close attention to communication. We also talked about the social cues, which are things that the body or our bodies are passing across, but that are not actually verbalized, and they go a long way in adding to the information we are passing across verbally. So when we get on top of all this, we can be said to be emotionally intelligent. And from the beginning, we compared emotional intelligence with other forms of intelligences, the social intelligence, the intelligent quotient, and we said emotional intelligence trumps them all. Okay, And we also ascertain that the research show that 80% of successes of organizations are attributable to emotional intelligence of the workers or the members of the management, while only 20% is attributable to the cognitive skills or the intelligence quotient IQ of people who works in such organizations. So we also alluded to the fact that that is why someone can be very, very intelligent, but not emotionally intelligent, and thus he knows what he's doing, what he has to do. He's good at his job, but he can't keep a job because he can't maintain a good relationship with people. He can't get ahead with conflict management. He can't build and lead a team. He can't coordinate people. He can't empathize with people. He can't feel. He can't get himself to feel, to share in the feelings of others. So, but he's very intelligent. He's an A student, okay? But he cannot relate with people. He can't manage his boss. He can't, interpersonally relate with colleagues. He cannot hold down his customers. He cannot he cannot relate with them the way he ought to do because he's just emotionally unintelligent. If we have this piece together, there is no doubt in my mind that we all will be qualified as very good people. We all will be qualified as excellent in outlook, in what we do, and in how we do it. If indeed these had been life-changing, my name is Dr. Omojola. I want you to continue to follow. I want you to look for other courses that are equally beneficial to our growth and personal development, because I'm committed to your personal development and growth. See you next time. Bye-bye.